received by the Central Tibetan Administration as of 31st January 2009, partly as a result of such beatings, about 220 Tibetans died and over 1,294 were seriously injured. Over 5,600 were arrested, 290 sentenced, and more than 1,000 have simply disappeared. In the past, one of the most powerful and stunningly painful footages to come out of Tibet that recorded Chinese police treatment of the protesters was the 1988 beating of the monks at the Chokang Temple. These footages now shown around the world are the first images that documented the brutality of the Chinese police. China has repeatedly denied the use of torture in Tibet. Even after last March's widespread protests and the crackdown that followed, Chinese authorities in Tibet resorted to brutal beatings and torture of the captive Tibetans. The Chinese Foreign Ministry had rejected the UN panel's report on the widespread use of torture by Chinese police, calling the report as untrue and slanderous in November 2008, and accusing the committee members as prejudiced against China. However, the following footages justify what is truly happening in Tibet as recently as 2008. This is one of the rare footages of Chinese police beating Tibetans who participated in the massive and widespread protests that erupted throughout Tibet since 10 March 2008. We are told that these beating of protesters took place in or near Lhasa after 14 March 2008. The footage clearly shows the beating of Tibetan captives even after they are handcuffed and tied, a violation of international norms regarding treatment of captives.
They're shooting them like dogs. Yeah.
Eight o'clock, one freezing morning at the Nepalese border. At 5,700 meters altitude, it seems the time is always frozen. Dozens of Tibetans are walking in line silently through the mountains of snow, trying to reach India and see the Dalai Lama, their spiritual leader. The deep silence of the camp, where Romanian and foreign climbers gathered, is killed by a machine gun. Everybody can see a Chinese soldier standing in the shooting position. He opens fire. The bullets hit human flesh. Tibetans fall to the ground. One of them seems to escape the bullets but is hit by a second round. He dies in the snow. As if nothing happened, the group of pilgrims walks away and never looks back. The ProTV cameraman gets the incredible scenes on tape. He is 1 kilometer away from the Tibetans when he watches another victim falling down. The Danish and the British climbers are simply overwhelmed by what they see.
It's very strange for me to see all this thing happens, to see this thing happen so close. I'm not used to it. I don't know what right the Chinese think they have to do things like this. There's no need to kill.
Hours pass by. A stranger arrives in the camp. He is one of the hunted Tibetans. He hides in the toilet.
You wanted to go to Dalai Lama?
There's a Tibetan in the toilet behind me, hiding from the Chinese military. Another Tibetan man was shot and left to die in the snow over 5 hours ago. I saw the soldiers firing. Sergio makes a risky move. He helps the Tibetan with some clothes and food. I gave him some of my clothes. I also shared with him some food I had. In the distance, 3 Chinese soldiers count their victims. Undisturbed, they leave one body in the snow. Trying to find new information, the Chinese soldiers enter the climbers' camp. They have more than 20 prisoners, 7 of them are children. For them, the pilgrimage to the Dalai Lama will end in a jail cell. The Chinese soldiers are smoking, relaxed. For them, it's just another successful mission. In spite of what all the climbers witnessed, the Chinese news agency, Xinhua, announces that Chinese frontier soldiers tried to persuade the group of Tibetans to go home, but the Tibetans refused and attacked the soldiers. These were then forced to defend themselves and to wound 2 persons.
Boycott Beijing Olympic 2022.
No rights, no game, free Tibet.
Requesting Canadian athletes to stand up for human rights and boycott Winter Olympic 2022.